What is up again? I know it's been a while since the last video, but I've just been really busy. I haven't had much time to get to editing, so back again, and I've got my spooky light once again, but it kind of works because tonight is a little spooky. We've got a full moon, and not just a full moon, we've got a super wolf blood moon or something like that. Super blood wolf moon, I don't know. But it's a full moon, it's a lunar eclipse, it's a super moon, it's got everything. And I don't know why I put it on the color cycle. It's not on like just the light this time. So the light is gonna look kind of awkward, I think. But yeah, so as I said, what's special about this moon is it's gonna be not only a full moon, but it's gonna be a super moon, so it's at the closest point to Earth in its orbit for this lunar cycle. And then it's also, lastly, a blood moon, which is just the term for a lunar eclipse moon, or just the term for a lunar eclipse, since the moon turns red, which I'm not going to go into the details of that. Never mind, I am, because I always like a good science lesson. When the moon moves into the Earth's shadow, as this turns red, due to the way the light from the sun goes through the atmosphere, it casts a red shadow on the moon. That's why the moon's all red, and hence the name blood moon. But yeah, I'm gonna go out there and shoot that tonight. I'm probably gonna go out at the start of the eclipse, so like 9:30 p.m. That's when it enters the Earth's shadow, and then I'm going to probably stay out there until just after totality. It's gonna be very cold out. I think last time I checked the weather, it said -1 Fahrenheit. Dry bulb temperature, so that doesn't include wind chill. I don't think the wind's going to be too bad, 5, 6, 7 miles an hour, so it'll probably be down to maybe at worst -15 wind chill. So it's going to be a cold one, but I'll dress warmly, and I'll probably take a couple of breaks into a nearby building, because that might be where I do vlogging. I don't know, because in order to vlog, and I use the phone as usual. Really, in order to really start recording, I have to take my hand out of my glove, and it's, you know, you can get frostbite within 10 minutes of skin exposure. Number one, it's going to be dark, and number two, it's going to be really cold, and so it's going to be tough, but I'm going to try it. So that's all for the talking, and let's get out and let's do some shooting. So I'm vlogging on the DSLR right now just for low light reasons. It's gonna be a little bit shaky because there's no stabilization. I'm walking out to the open central campus area to have some space to photograph the moon, and the eclipse has started. The bottom of the moon is already starting to go dark, so the moon is now going into the penumbral shadow of the Earth. So that's kind of the beginning stages of the eclipse, and then the blood moon will occur when the moon goes entirely into the Earth's shadow, and then it's sort of, the Earth casts a red shadow onto it. My hands are getting extremely cold right now. They've been out for like 5 minutes, and they're already feeling crazy cold, so probably gonna have to switch to the phone now, because I'm going to put the long lens on and start photographing the moon. Okay, I don't know how good the lighting is, so apologies if it's really dark. I'm trying to use some of this ambient light coming from the building over there, but I've set up next to my friend the snowman here, because no one else is here with me yet. They're gonna come later. Oh. So there was basically one fear I had coming into this, and it's come true. And I don't know if I'm able to show it very well. I'll continue after these chimes. So as I was saying before the bells went off, there's one fear and it's come true, and that's the moon is something like 60 degrees up in the sky, and that means I have to point the camera up 60 degrees. And when I have a 5-pound lens on, the tripod can't really support a lens that's 5 pounds and angled at 60 degrees. So what I'm trying to do is, I was gonna try and support it on my backpack, but the backpack isn't tall enough. So I think what I'm gonna try and do is lean the ball head, sort of roll the ball head back until the this might be hard to explain, but until the the metal column that sticks off the ball is stopped by the collar housing the ball head. So, and then I'll sort of extend the legs to give myself the best angle, but it's gonna be a real pain because the moon's gonna move. Surprisingly, this building just like right next to where we're shooting is open. I'm surprised because it's late and it's a weekend, but it's open. Oh, it has hours listed right there. But just want to say a couple things real quick. You saw I managed to find a position for the tripod and the big lens. So I'm hoping that holds for the rest of the eclipse. Right now the moon is is about a quarter covered. Still a ways to go, but I'll just kind of be taking pictures and video kind of throughout the whole thing. I've got some friends who I mentioned that are going to be coming. I know Connor and Gabe are going to be coming around 10:30. Justin might be coming, I'm not sure. They're going to come pretty much just for totality. I'm going to be staying throughout the whole thing. And that kind of scared me. But I'm going to head back out now and not leave my camera unattended and keep tracking this eclipse. Ooh, almost dropped the camera. So I've got the face mask on. It's that cold, it's actually 0 degrees Fahrenheit right now. But what's special about this moon is that this is the last total eclipse until 2021. So there's not going to be another one for the entirety of 2019 or the entirety of 2020. Also, as I mentioned, it's a supermoon. It's something like 10 to 15% bigger than normal, just because it's closer. So that makes photographing it even better. It's bigger in the frame and brighter. Pretty sure you can't see me at all right now, but it is almost total eclipse time, and excited for this blood moon. So it's about 3 minutes from totality right now, and as soon as it hits totality, I'll run back over there. The thing I'm worried about is that it's not perfectly clear out. The reason I'm able to get photos of the moon is because the moon is so bright because it's so close. But it's really hazy out. I don't know if they're clouds or if it's just haze, but I can see a few stars. But I think it's just really hazy out. And I'm just not sure how much red we're gonna be able to see. I mean, the red is fairly bright on an eclipse, especially when it's this close, but relative to how bright the moon is, it's not bright at all. So I think it's about 2 minutes out now. I'm hoping that I'll be able to catch some kind of red, or else it's kind of pointless. With Gabe. Say hi.
Hello.
Yeah, that's Gabe. Because it is freakishly cold out, and I was starting to lose feeling in my toes. So I've I've come inside, taken my boots off. The eclipse has been kind of a bust, just because of how hazy it is, and it never cleared off. It actually got worse. But I think we're going to sort of wait until it goes back into a partial eclipse when the totality is over, and then we'll probably call it a night. We can't stay out in the cold much longer. God. Okay. I'm just going to not look at the camera. So I'm using my friend the snowman now because the moon is like 80 degrees or something like that. I haven't checked, but it's about 80 degrees in the sky, and my tripod can no longer support that. So I'm using my friend the snowman to help support me. Good. Good, that's good. I didn't think I would say this, but I'm actually kind of sick of the blood moon right now because we can't even see the blood moon. So I'm just waiting for the partial eclipse, the partial exiting eclipse to begin. The blood moon's going away, redness is fading, it's turning pretty much black, except for a little bit of light on the top edge. So gonna get a few shots of that in the next few minutes and then probably head out. Whew. So I'm back inside now. The very first thing I did, and this is something really, really important when you're shooting in cold temperatures, is I opened my window and I threw down the camera right in front of the window. Now, the reason that's important is because when you take your camera from a really, really cold temperature into a warm temperature like my room, which is at 74, I think, that's kind of warm, the air inside your camera is really, really cold. And then when you bring it into a warm room, the danger is that water in that air will condense. And that will condense onto the sensor, onto the glass, onto everything. But the worst part is if it condenses on the sensor, bad things happen. I threw it in front of this window because the cold air blowing across it keeps it fairly cool while there's still some heat in the room to help slowly warm it up. And then the second thing I want to mention is this eclipse was kind of just a bust. You know, it was hazy the whole night. I don't know if they were clouds, like really thin clouds, or whether it was fog or what. You know, it was okay during the partial eclipse because it was so bright anyway, you could get sharp photos, but I'm going to rest my arm like on something here. But once the blood moon hit, as you know, some of the photos you saw, you know, the camera made it look like it was fairly bright just because I had to crank the ISO, which I hate doing. I had to shoot at half a second, which there's going to be some motion blur at half a second. I was also shooting at my maximum aperture, which was f6.3, which is also a no-no at 600 millimeters. But I had to bump it up to that just to keep the shutter speed low. But you know, sometimes you got to deal with that. You don't have to get the greatest photo in a situation like that. A lot of it's just about capturing that moment. I mean, yeah, it's nice to have a good photo, but you know, a bad photo is better than no photo. So at least I got some that are manageable. But in the end, it's always really cool to see an eclipse like that, especially for someone who loves space, loves astronomy, loves all that kind of stuff. And I won't get to see another one of those for at least 3 years. So, you know, I'm thankful I at least got to see some of it, that the clouds weren't too thick. I don't really know if I showed much of them in the vlog, but Connor showed up, Gabe showed up, and there were a couple other guys that kind of walked by. I didn't know them, but they just walked by. You know, they were checking out the eclipse too. You know, it was just it was a fun night, hanging out with people, getting some photos of the eclipse, and just really watching it, enjoying the frozen temperatures. So that's all I want to conclude with. I might try some random composite photos. So if I do any of those, which will take a while, I will show those at the end. But otherwise, I will see you guys next time, and hopefully it's not quite so cold. Peace.